Hello, my name is Callum McIntosh and I'm a data solutions engineer working for the Cloud Application Services team for Siemens UK. Today I'll be showing you how to connect a MindConnect Nano onto MindSphere version 3. This guide is correct as of May 2018. If any of the user interface pages that I'm going to show you in this presentation are different to the ones you have in front of you, then it may be best to sort alternate guides as the process may be different as MindSphere evolves. The current process for onboarding on a MindConnect Nano onto MindSphere is as shown on this page. First of all, you create an aspect type defining the variables, the data type, and the units. Then you create the asset type where you define the group of machines and also link back to the aspect type. Step 3, you're creating the virtual asset. This is where you'd ultimately be able to visualize the data being pushed into MindSphere. But you do need to link this back to the asset type previously created. You do need to create a link to the physical asset. In order to do this, you need to create an asset agent. The agent here is a MindConnect Nano, and you need to go through the onboarding process for a MindConnect Nano. For those of you who have MindSphere version 2, it's a very similar process, but there are some differences. But I'll go through this step by step as well. Step 5 is mapping the variables. So during this process, you've mapped the variables in step 1 and also step 4 when you've created the physical agent, the physical asset. Step 5 is linking those two steps together, and this is done. So in order to do this, you do need to make sure that your data type and your units are the same and in the variables that you've defined. And this will ultimately will allow you to view the data in Fleet Manager or any other visualization Mind apps you have in your Mind Access account. Today I'll be connecting my MindConnect Nano to my demo rig, my condition monitoring demo rig. So this has got a very simple motor with a shaft that we're monitoring the vibration of with a sensor. This sensor is going into a CMS 2000, which is giving us some velocity RMS and acceleration RMS values that's being pushed into the S7 1200. So for this example, we are using the S7 protocol, but there are guides online, for example, the MindConnect Getting Started guide, where you'll be able to see the correct addressing for OPCUA protocol and others that do come out in the future. Okay, to get started, we're going to go initially create this aspect type. So first off, you need to open up your MindConnect tenant and go into Asset Manager. Step 1 involved creating your own aspect type. So in this left-hand column, you have assets, types, and aspects. You're going to go into aspects initially. And then from here, you're going to create a new aspect type, which is going to new in this second column. And then you need to fill in all the information here. To start off with the ID has to have the tenant prefix to start off with. For this account that I'm using, the tenant prefix is CAS UK user. So I just need to make sure that I have CAS UK user as my tenant prefix. And then I need to have a unique ID behind it. From there, I can add in a name. You can't use spaces in this name, as you'll find out it's read it out there. But as soon as you remove the spaces, you'll be able to move on to the next step, which will be adding a description to it. Once you've added a description, you can move on to the variable name. For this example, I have 6 variables that I'll be using with a mixture of Boolean and double data types. So we're going to start off going into vibration 1 velocity, and this will be the RMS. And it's going to be a double type with millimeters per second. Make sure you note down which units you type in here, because this is how you'll be linking the physical asset in step 4 to this particular variable. So bear with me while I add the other aspects that I'm looking to get from my Mind Access account. So acceleration, and I'll be doing that in meters per second squared, and the data type again will be double. Make sure you do click the add variable button as well to make sure it's listed in the variable table below. And my Boolean value will be drive on, and you still need to define the unit here as well. So if that is defined as true in this example. Then I would like actual speed. Again, it's a double data type, going to meters per second. And then I'm just going to do operational hours with the data type double and the unit hours. After you've done that, you have finished the aspect type creation. So you need to scroll down to save, and that will come up as successfully added in the top right hand corner. And from there, you're able to move on to step 2, which is adding an asset type. For this one, you go into this second icon in the left-hand column. Click on that, and what you want to do is add a new asset here. The parent asset type is basic device. So go down, so you want to find the core.basic device in the parent asset type. Again, we have to have the tenant prefix before you have the ID of the asset type you're looking to identify. So in this case, it's CAS UK user. And then we're looking at the demo condition just with asset at the end. I'm going to use that as our name as well. You can also add a description of the asset type here, and just need to link the asset type to the aspect type. So just need to make sure that for this example, demo condition is CAS UK demo condition aspect is found. Click on that, and it would fill in the aspect name and link the aspect type to this asset type. Click on add, and you can see it come up here. Click on save, and in the top right hand corner, you'll have asset type successfully added, which enables you to go on to step 3 of our graph, which is creating the virtual asset. For this one, you go into the top left icon on the assets on this column. Click on assets, and again, you want to add a new asset, and you want to find the asset type you have previously created. So for this one, the demo condition asset here is the one I created previously. So click on that. And here you'll be able to actually define the particular asset. So this is actually our demo box 2 for condition monitoring. So I'm going to go condition monitoring. Demo box 2, and just give a description of that. Here you can also define the location of the device. So this will be our office here in Manchester. And I would also recommend putting in the location if it is a fixed location device. You can change this in the future as well, but it will just show up in the correct location on the map when you visualize that in Fleet Manager. Okay, once all of those assets are done, or all those fields are completed in the Add Assets section, click on the Save button, and then we're able to move on to the next step, which will be onboarding the physical asset, the agent. Okay, so for this step, you need to go into the assets section again. Here you'll be adding another asset, so you need to go into add a new asset, but you'll be using the MindConnect Nano asset type. So you click on the MindConnect Nano asset type, and you'll be doing a similar thing, finding creating a name, unique ID. So this is the Nano of the demo box 2. And again, you can fill in the description and location of the device here. And also the geolocation, latitude and longitude. Once you've saved, you'll have a new folder appear. This will enable the onboarding of the device. So when you jump into that folder, you will have a basic information for the unique ID. The unique ID is found at the bottom of your MindConnect Nano, and this needs to be inputted correctly in order to link your MindConnect Nano to your MindSphere account. So for this one, it is J69593838. So once you click save, you'll be given the chance to create some new variables for this particular asset using a new data source. However, we've not onboarded yet, and this icon here on the top right hand side means there's no connection between the MindConnect Nano and MindSphere. So in order to do this, we need to click on the cog, the settings icon, next to the not onboarded information. We'll see our unique ID that we just inputted on this page, but also we'll see the different connection methods we can get to connect to the internet and connect to your production interface. You have obviously IP settings, subnet masks, gateways, and DNS servers you can input, but for this example here, we're just going to be connecting via DHCP for our web interface. For the production interface, we're going to defining the port 192.168.0.100 with subnet mask 255.0. There'll be no proxy on this demo rig, so there's no need to click on and define a proxy. So keep that as none, but we'll just remember to go down to the bottom and click on the save button. This will save the agent, and on the top right hand corner now, so when it was previously saying not onboarded, you're now having onboarding. You're not finished yet because you need to download the onboarding key. This is done by clicking on download the onboarding key button. If you have that error, press keep in Chrome. So to demonstrate doing that, I just need to copy my download from the file that's just been created and put it into my flash drive. Then all I need to do is take the flash drive out and place it in port X63 of my device. I would recommend power cycling, so the MindConnect Nano, before you move on to the next steps. You'll get a variety of lights that appear on the MindConnect Nano. What you're looking for is the furthest right two lights, LEDs, to be green, but they'll be flashing constantly during the process. So if you're concerned, just leave it 5 minutes and waiting for those two green lights. But if you do have an amber and green light, for example, there are guides online and also troubleshooting tips online on the MindConnect Getting Started guide. So just looking at my MindConnect Nano now, it's just got one green light and we're awaiting further information. Still cycling through, and now we are good to go. So now my MindConnect Nano has two green lights, which means it's connected to MindSphere and in particular to this MindSphere account. So I'm going to have a refresh of this page, and the onboarding status should go from onboarding ... to onboarded. And the moment of truth, and there we have it. So that's the MindConnect Nano onboarded onto MindSphere. So what I need to do now is define the data source. So I need to click on the Add New Data Source button and just define the protocol. So as I said previously, currently the options are S7 or OPC UA. I'm going to click on S7 for this one because it's my S7 1200 PLC. You can add in a description of the data source you can define there. Here you're able to add in your reading cycle time. I'm going to change that to 15 seconds. And then just need the IP address of your device. Okay, so I have my data source defined here. It mentions I have one unsaved change. So I can save that and make sure that's added to the agent. What I want to do though, I want to add those 6 tags and 6 variables I had previously defined in the first step of the process. I just need to redefine them in step number 4, which is the physical asset step. So I need to add these data points. So if you go along to you find your agents that the data source that you're going to be using, you want to go to the right of it and add data point. So for this one, it is vibration 1, velocity RMS. You can add a further description, but this is where you need to pay particular attention to the units, as the units are how you're going to be linking step 4 and step 1 together. So you need to make sure you clicked on the right data type you're going to be using, and for this one it is DB80 DBReal116. Okay, and once you've got that defined, all you need to do is press accept, and then you have it added to below your data source. And it's just a similar situation for all the rest of the points you'll be adding. Making sure you're choosing the right data type, and when you're addressing the point, making sure you've got the right address of the variable you want to push into MindSphere. Even with the Boolean values, you do need to have the unit, but also just make sure that it's the same as you defined previously. And obviously make sure the data type is correctly defined as well. You can get a full list of addresses or ways of addressing your tags available on the MindConnect Nano Getting Started guide. Okay, as you've seen, I have finished adding in the different variables and tags that I wanted to read in with the MindConnect Nano. I have all these unsaved changes, so I just need to click on save, and it will say, do you really want to save these changes? The data mappings will be lost. This is something to keep in mind in the future, so if you are adding any more data points, the mappings that you've created previously will be lost. So I want to click on yes for this. And then I need to make sure the 2 agents I have are linked. So the visualization agent and the physical agent, so a physical asset and the virtual asset are linked. So going to view data mappings. And here I have my first one, so vibration 1, velocity RMS. So I want to link this variable here. To do this, I need to change the folder back into the condition monitoring demo box. Condition monitoring demo box 2. If I click on the title there, click on accept, that will put us into the right folder category. And what you'll see here is the one with the RMS value, with the RMS unit, which is the same as the unit defined in this data point, I'll be able to click on link variable and accept. From there, I need to continue this process for all the different variables I've got. So now I have finished mapping all my variables to the aspect types as I've defined previously. So all of them have the unlinked variable and linked variable option. So what I need to do now is just see if the data from my machine is coming through to MindSphere. So I'm going to use Fleet Manager to do that. So I'm going to go click the button in this top left corner, and then I'm going to go into the Fleet Manager button. But first I'll need to sign in. So after you've defined all the variables, you'll be able to view the asset and the variables being plotted in time series format using Fleet Manager. So for this, going to Fleet Manager section, I've got it in the hierarchy option. I'll be able to find my condition monitoring demo box 2. And from there, I'll have the demo condition aspects as previously defined in my aspect type. So if I click on this down button, I'll be able to see that my MindConnect Nano is starting to plot the data coming from my S7-1200. So I set it as a 15-second read cycle time. So as we continue tracking this, the more and more data will be pushed through to MindSphere. Using Fleet Manager, you can add in alarms and requests, events, and things like that. I will do a Fleet Manager guide in the future if there's enough interest, but for the time being, that's everything on how to get data pushed up to MindSphere using the MindConnect Nano and pushed up to MindSphere version 3. Thank you for your time.